Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Ay, still not understanding.
Let's get cooking. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making ratatouille from the movie Ratatouille because I was bored. So I'm starting by sorting all my vegetables and I get them washed. I wash my vegetables with baking soda and lemon juice, and then I just rinse them off with water, let them soak for a bit. Ratatouille is like really simple to make. It's really just tomato, squash, yellow squash, eggplant, and zucchini. And so for the base though, it's a little more ingredients. So I just oiled up a pan. I got that oiled up to put some bell peppers in the oven. I roasted them for about 20 minutes, I think, in the stove. And I salted them a little bit just because, I don't know. Actually, I don't know why I salted them. Like, you weren't gonna taste that. But yeah, so I salted them, oiled them up, put them in the oven, and then while that was going, I got some boiling water ready to boil some tomatoes. Boiling the tomatoes just makes it so that we can peel the skin, that skin layer off of it, and it removes that, makes it easier to remove. So when we started blending the sauce for the ratatouille, it was way easier. So I just finished washing the rest of the vegetables. That was for the sauce, the celery and carrots, bell peppers, that all goes into the sauce for the ratatouille. I put the tomatoes in the boiling water. I think I had them in there for about 10 minutes. And while that was going, I just cut some onion. Now guys, when I was cutting this onion, I almost like died. I had to stop a few times and go like run outside because it was making my eyes tear up so bad. It was so terrible. My eyelash literally started coming off. Like, it was so ghetto. I had to put my eyelash back on and continue recording. But I had to step outside for a minute because it was so bad. Yeah, these are the tomatoes being done. If you look closely, you can kind of see like the skin peeling off. And I just took the bell peppers out the oven. They kind of look the same, but like the smell that I had on the house was amazing. The house smelled like roasted bell peppers. So that's me taking out the tomatoes. So I'm gonna soak them in an ice bath just so I can peel that first layer of skin off. It makes it easier for me. And while that was sitting in the water, I went ahead and chopped some celery, and I chopped the carrots to make the sauce for the ratatouille. I put it all in a big pan. I used some oil, and I sauteed the onions on medium heat. And while I had the oil heating up, I peeled the tomatoes and then went back to the onions. I got them nice and sauteed in some vegetable oil. Then I added some celery and I added the carrots to the onions and I stirred them up a bit. Added some butter, and I think we had this on the stove for maybe an hour and a half. After that, I added the tomatoes that I blended up. I just put it in the blender and blended it, and I added it to the celery carrot mixture. Here's Isabel, she just wanted to say hi. And it was actually like a rainy day. Like, this was the perfect day for ratatouille, something like nice and warm to have. So I went in, I wanted to char my bell peppers a little bit, but we didn't have like a lighter, so I just did it on the stove. It's kind of dangerous, but it worked. And then I went ahead and rubbed some of that char off, and then I just sliced the bell peppers up so that it was ready to go into the sauce. After that, I just started seasoning the ratatouille. There's no, like, when I looked up like a recipe for it, there was no like real seasoning, so I just kind of like did like personal preference. And I had that like not boiling but simmering on the stove for about an hour, and then my kitchen was a mess, so I had to clean it up because you want a clean space when you work. So I went ahead and washed the dishes, and I went into cutting up the squash. This is yellow squash, just regular yellow squash from Walmart. And then we had zucchini. The squash and zucchini were the easiest to cut. Once we got to the eggplant, I started struggling a little bit just because the knife was kind of dual so it was kind of hard to go through. Like you can see right here, like I had to like go back and forth. I was trying to get the thinnest layer as possible, but the tomato was actually kind of easier to cut than the eggplant, so that made things easier for me. Isabel came back, but I don't think she likes to be recorded, so she kind of just scooted away. Yeah, but after that I just put my vegetables in some like cold salt water just to kind of firm them up a bit to make them easier to handle. This is the sauce. Before it had been sitting for like an hour and a half, I think, just kind of mixing together, getting all those flavors. I added a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of salt to the mixture just to help it break down some more. Added some more seasonings just for personal preference. And then once we got all that together, I think I let it sit for 30 more minutes, and then I put it into the blender. Once I blended it all up, it was ready to go into the pans. Once we got it to the pans, it was all looking pretty, and I just had to arrange everything. So I did my layers of eggplant. I think I did eggplant, then I did, squash. I guess I'll put the tomato first. So tomato, eggplant, squash, zucchini. You can see the eggplant and tomato are way bigger than the other slices. So I will personally go get maybe smaller like Roma tomatoes and Japanese eggplant just because they're smaller in size. I'm pretty much done now. The oven's gonna do the rest of the work. It's gonna be in there for 90 minutes on 320 covered, and then I'm gonna uncover it for 40 more minutes, and then it'll be done. Yeah, so.
A few moments later.
Alright, so this is my ratatouille out of the oven. As you can see, it's so beautiful. It took maybe 2 hours to bake completely. I did an hour with it covered with parchment and an hour uncovered. As you can see, we ate like half the square pan and the whole rectangle pan. Like, this was after I made plates and everything because we were starving. But here's a picture of the food. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!